So, hi, I'm Andrew Turner, as mentioned. I'm actually really impressed. Always, Esri's done some great stuff and just the potential here in mapping. And I want to talk a lot about the upcoming potential and the really compelling examples of using geospatial as a two-way collaboration to engage with citizens and government alike. And what we can all kind of do with that, and why that's actually really compelling and making it more than just kind of showing maps, but actually having citizens build their own and do a two-way feedback on that. If I can actually get my slides up, thank you. So, so I think it's worthwhile to look at the kind of the government, open government initiative and the transparency, participation, collaboration pillars that form this. Government services have done very well now with these kind of initial example applications about data.gov and IT dashboard, letting people actually play and build their own visualizations. But how do we get actually into collaboration? How do we get people to actually engage and build their own viewpoints and have a discussion go on between the government agencies, municipal governments, and citizens and stakeholders? So place is this really compelling example because people care about place. We all care that we're actually here. I care what street I'm on. Parents care about what stream is nearby their house and kids play in it. What's the water quality? What's the crime rate? How far am I away from my house and my work? How do I get there? This is something people engage with continuously, and it's a way for to actually have this dialogue about something people really, really care about. So geography is this common pivot point, as Jack mentioned. You can start layering together different pieces of information from different agencies, from business, from private, from personal aspects, and layer them all together before this whole kind of semantic web emerges, but location now gives that kind of common context. So in fact, looking at the federal enterprise architecture, it clearly states that 74% of the services for citizens in the FEA lines of business are primarily geospatial. The problem is a lot of them right now aren't geospatially linked. They might have a FIPS code or an ISO. So we're actually partnered with the FGDC on helping geo-enable or geotag a lot of this data. So government's already provided itself, obviously, as we've talked about before, as a platform by the GPS system that's now free to use that builds location-based services, as well as the Tiger line data that serves as a primary backing for a lot of this data to be built on top of. And so kind of what's emerging here is that traditional GIS is moving from primarily map-centric to really think about users and stakeholders and what do they need. Are they a firefighter? Are they a family? Are they a grandmother? What are their needs, concerns, and how can you better engage and serve with them? So looking at this kind of as an example, looking at agencies' transparency is about sharing the data out. But right now that kind of requires a citizen to go between these different agencies and engage with them each individually, hop from EPA to Bureau of Land Management to GSA and look at these different pieces. But what if you could actually fuse these things together and give one common picture around what a person actually cares about? And that's what geography can do. Citizens can then engage with it and they can participate in the map. They can share it with their community. Here's what's going on in our neighborhood, in our county. They can start kind of collaborating around these pieces and sharing back and forth. Actually, then the government can start watching behind the scenes and seeing what's going on. What do people care about? What kind of maps are they building? How can we have these better conversations and serve their actual needs that they're telling us? And different maps from different people. So some people want to cut across different domains, environment to business to crime, and mapping is a way to do that. So looking at a lot of examples that have been covered here, conferences are kind of parts of conversations, so we're using a lot of the same vocabulary, so we'll talk about a lot of the same really compelling examples. For one, Ride the City actually gives you routing directions on bicycle based on safest routing. So not just the shortest or the least hilly, but actually the safest that has the least number of bicycle accidents. Looking at crime spotting, this actually started up, Statement Design started crawling the Oakland Police Department. Finally, they participated with them to get the data open up and start doing visualization, not just visualization by crime type, but actually by time of day. So looking at daytime versus nighttime, really engaging with what might be meaningful to somebody. We talked a lot about Stumble Safely, so looking at the correlation and multiple layered analysis between licensed bars and crime. Or sometimes people want this on the mobile device. They want to, as they're walking around, want to engage with it there. They don't want to be looking at on their desktop and have to come back to it. And sometimes it's about two-way participation. So a lot of people got together and developers and worked and put together this vote report, which people could Twitter or SMS in or instant message or leave voicemail on the current voting conditions last fall and be able to visualize that and share that data out. And we just recently did a project in Afghanistan doing the same thing, people on the ground with SMS reporting acts of violence with demographics to understand the emerging democracy in Afghanistan. So in crisis response, we've looked a lot at, this is a kind of a rapid fire where people have to collaborate very quickly. So taking things like satellite hotspot imagery, Google My Maps for people to collaborate on top of and share all this information and pass it back out to first responders. So there's kind of collaborative multipath directionality there going on around geospatial. And this is what we do with GeoCommons Maker, which is a public web service where anybody can upload data, find over tens of thousands of data sets, and quickly build up their own maps and visualizations and play with this. So they can start cutting across these domains in different geographic areas of interest as much as they want. So they can build their own personalized maps and treat them as social objects. So I can build my map and share it with my friends or my family or my community, share it with each other. And people can go and explore this. They can start looking at things like unemployment against stimulus spending, what's actually going on here. and then actually go and get all the data, embed it into their blog, blog about it, comment on it, dump it to their mobile device, and share it out. Start looking at things like epidemiology and the H1N1, commenting on the map and sharing this. So one thing to be aware of here is that licensing, is that where the government really needs to step up is being aware of restrictive licensing, things like cost recovery, really sharing the data out in ways that developers and citizens can engage with and use without fear that they're breaking the licensing restrictions. So in general, serving out the data in open formats, non-restrictive licensing, think about the users and how they're going to engage with it, and encourage the exploration and collaboration. How can people merge this data together in ways they really care about? So just really thinking about the FGDC really lays this out very clearly, that the coupling of geospatial data with conventional data can be one of the most significant enablers of improved decision making within the government. So thank you very much.